from the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport. And driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pod on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Follow us at Billified on YouTube. You can watch it live there. Facebook.com/Bill Moran. Dougie Fresh in the house.
What's going on, baby?
Got a new shirt.
I got a new shirt. You got a little new thing, too. What, did you take second place in a Mick Jagger lookalike contest? Or trying to look like Rolling Stones?
I was in a fight today, Doug. I went in and did some sparring, and I caught one right in the fucking face. I tried to, slip, bam, right into the face.
How big was she?
She was big.
She was big?
Oh. No, actually, she wasn't that big. She was just mighty.
Just
mighty fist. No, I wear sunscreen. That's all I'll tell you. Put on some sunscreen. Just do that. All right? Don't lay out in the sun. Don't go to the tanning booths. Don't do it. That's all.
So for those of you who can't watch us, Bill's got a big white Band-Aid above his
it's a whole
left side of his face and his lip.
I have a history and a family history with my mom's side of skin cancer. So I had a pre-melanoma taken off, and I've had other biopsies done. Every once in a while, like a ship, I got to go in and get some barnacles scraped off, you know.
I think you're talking about the wrong end of the ship, but okay.
My dad told me that when I was a kid that I looked like I stood, like if I had my shirt off, like I stood behind a screen door and someone threw shit at me. That's what he said to me. He goes, man, you're speckled all over. So I that was my old man, or is. So today, so back in November, I've been going every 6 months. Then I had an insurance change, and I show up for a dermatology appointment, 6 months checkup, and they go, oh, we don't take this insurance.
Don't you love that?
And I said, okay. I said, well, can I pay cash? And they said, no, you can't. We have to. And it's not their fault. It's not. So they recommended somebody else, and I just dragged my feet a little bit, and I went within a year, and I said, hey, this thing I'm on. She goes, oh, yeah. So they did a biopsy there, and they said it is basal cell. Now, basal cell isn't the worst kind of skin cancer. It's usually not deadly, but this is near your sinuses and stuff. But as soon as I could get in to see this guy from October was now. So I had myself on a waiting list, fully expecting at any moment I would get a call. So I went in today, and what they do is they shoot you up, they numb your face up, they like little needles.
Will you die like this for a little while?
No, because it's up here.
Do you nurses listen to my podcast? I'm really popular.
You better be funny tonight.
I'm going to try. I know.
No,
I've been working on stuff all day.
I'm teasing you.
Well, it looks like you went down on some grog this weekend, and you were licking your zipper for 20 minutes before you're like, how's this? And you're like, Bill, you want to take my zipper down? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a while. I know.
So Dr. Brown is fantastic because so what they do is they numb you up and they stick you all around and they go, can you feel this? Can you like, because they're going to cut you.
Right.
So they come in, they cut it out, and they tell you you're going to be there, expect 2 to 4 hours. That's why I called you, and I was thinking maybe we don't do a live podcast. I have some podcasts that I haven't released yet, but I'm holding those back because my youngest son is coming into town. It's his birthday Saturday. He just called just before we started, and he's coming into town, and I'm going to take some time with him. So I'll just run these never heard before, a really interesting one with about Ukraine with a guy from Ukraine. And so I wasn't sure what we were going to do. That's why I called you yesterday. So I get in there, and I figure this is going to be quick because, I mean, I go in and just to give you just some, most of the people they're seeing are old people. Like one guy gets up there and they say, how are you today? He goes, well, I'm here. He's at the window.
Right.
And then they go, what's your birthday? He goes, what's your date of birth? And he goes, I don't know what the month or day was. All I heard was 1938.
Wow.
Okay, so these are the most of the people that they're seeing. So I'm on the younger end, even though I'm not necessarily a young guy.
Right.
I'm on the younger end of what they see. So I come in, and she goes, they have to do your vitals and stuff. And she goes, God, that's great. My blood pressure is like 116/77. My heart rate's 55, 50, something like that. So, but then, so I'm
Do
figuring.
they make you turn and cough?
No,
They don't do that?
not at this doctor.
Not at that doctor?
No.
My last doctor did that.
No.
Actually, it was my dentist, and I stopped going to see him. It was really weird. Talking about cavities.
Brush your teeth with this? Wrong kind of cavity, huh?
Okay, you can spit now.
So I go in there, and they cut, and they're going to biopsy. And she says the biopsy usually takes 45 minutes. They go and look at it, make sure that they've got what they call clean borders, so there's no more skin cancer.
Now, they just have a gauze on there? They haven't sewed you up yet?
Oh, yeah. At this point that I'm telling you in the story, they have not sewed me up.
Okay, yeah.
So I figure this is great. So she comes back in about 15 minutes later. She goes, well, we got it back already. Unfortunately, we didn't get it all. There's more, and it's a little deeper, which then you're like, God damn, right? Because this is near your sinuses and things. So you start to. So they said, no problem. So they go back in. They numb you up
more. They numbed you up more?
Numb you up more. They cut more.
Wow.
They go through, and they do another biopsy. They do the thing. This one takes a little bit longer, probably like a half hour. And then they say, got it all. We're going to come in, and we're going to sew you up.
They got it all. They knew that right then and there.
Yes.
Okay.
All there. It's skin cancer. So they just have to make sure they get what's called clean borders. As long as there's no cancer in the edges, you're fine.
So there's a discoloration underneath, maybe, that they can tell?
I don't know, because it's basically a hole in there now.
Right.
So then they sew it up, but they do it. I don't know how the hell they do it, because think of your skin, right? I think there's 7 layers of skin.
That I don't know.
I don't either. So I'm speaking out of my hiney here. But there's several layers of skin. So I don't know how deep into the skin they're going and down, but they put stitches in the lower level that dissolve, and then upper, since it's your face, he said, I want to do stitches that you're going to have to come back and take out because they hold tighter. So right along like a smile line, you won't even see it.
You won't even notice.
Yeah. So, but right now I have stitches from like here to here.
Have you ever grown a mustache before?
I had a mustache beard. I did it once.
Years ago?
Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I
Just
don't
wondering.
care. Nah. Scars are fine. I mean, this wouldn't hide it anyway because it's above the hairline. So now you can't get it wet for 2 days. And then.
When you go back Thursday?
I go back next Tuesday to get the stitches out. But then Thursday I can take a shower, and I can shower. I just can't get my face wet. So I'll do that. And then. I have to change the gauze and all this other shit. So it's lovely. It's a lovely thing.
That's so much fun.
Well, I have a bit of.
Those things suck. You got to get through
I have a bit of a headache and this, but I just
the
figured
Bushmills will help.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was fighting the urge to go have a beer before I came here.
Sure, I didn't get a text for that.
Well, I did.
Hey, you want to come out here and have a beer? I got Chinese food.
I didn't
now
know
there was beer involved.
I didn't go. I didn't go for the beer.
Okay. It's okay.
Instead, I went and I got a smoothie.
It looks
We
like
had
you're a
that.
young Santa Claus and you're only growing one side of your mustache out. I'm trying to relate this to something in my head that I've seen in the movies or something.
It's annoying, and I do have a bit of a headache, but.
I would
Other than
too if somebody dug into my lip.
Well, here's the thing. I'd like to keep living.
Yeah.
I like life. And so far, things are going well. And I'm great. Honestly, in all honesty, I thought even when I was sitting in there, I go, man, you know how fucking lucky you are? Like you know how like you are educated enough on this stuff, on this particular thing, to make sure that you do go every 6 months, because you do have kids. They are I got a 14-year-old. There is, as much as he doesn't live in the same house as me, but I'm needed for money, support, that that kind of thing.
Being a dad.
Being a dad as much as I can from a distance. And
Right.
and I want to be around. I want to be around. And not that this is a death sentence. It is not.
Right.
And I don't want to
Just
compare
the look
that
is.
to anybody. The look is. So it's embarrassing to have to walk around like this. And then I got the cameras and things. And I said, yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
People be sending you flowers and
I think
chapstick,
I
probably.
think most people. I'll tell you what, though. Here's the funny part. Just before
There's
we
a funny part? Oh.
started to go to do the podcast, I went into the bathroom. We share a bathroom with like some other people. There's a code to get in. You got to be part of the special bathroom club. And I go in there, and one of the guys, there's a Chinese restaurant near the studio, and it's authentically Chinese. The people that work there are from China. I don't think they speak English well. So,
Oh, she did.
she did. Yeah. Well, I don't think they all.
My bill was $9.87. I pull out my credit card. $15 minimum.
Oh,
She got that out. So when it comes to money, Japanese, Chinese, they talk English real fast, real quick.
I
No offense.
I go in there, and the guy, he's at the urinal, and he turns his head, and he was going to say hello, and he looks and he goes hi, and he goes, oh, what happened? And I say, oh, skin cancer. And he went, skin cancer? And I said, yeah, I got it. I got it. Got it out. So that's the there you go. Now it's out.
Good.
I haven't really talked about it to family and stuff. Oh, only because it's not that big a deal. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? It's not like
I totally
yes,
understand.
and then it becomes like this big thing.
When your family wants to know everything about you.
Yes, I know. Oh, my God. Should we find out more? Should we dig? Who bought you
like
that
in your
new,
lip.
Who bought you that new shirt? Let's dig like it's my lip.
I bought it. I need an ironing board. I have an iron, but I don't have an ironing board.
Wait, you don't have an ironing board?
Yeah, this needs a little ironing.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing in the world. Why don't you just throw it in the dryer?
I don't have a dryer.
Oh, my face.
I'm not taking my shirt to the laundromat for one dryer.
No, listen to me.
I
So,
am. I'm all ears.
If you had a dryer,
Right.
you just wet like a washcloth, throw it in there with it, and the steam that builds up in the dryer.
I almost
takes
put
right
it in the bathroom and let the shower.
Yeah,
run
yeah,
in
yeah.
hot. When I
But
get
you don't
home,
have
I'll
an
do that.
ironing board?
I have the iron.
Yes.
I'm halfway there.
Okay.
But I don't have
Well,
the
why
ironing
don't you
board.
just lay a towel down on the floor and iron it?
You know what? I didn't think of that. I should have done that when I.
Why?
got
Who
into
gives a shit? If it's wrinkled, it's wrinkled. Do you
I
care?
don't- No.
All right, then I
The
don't
people I'm driving around Uber sure as hell ain't saying anything.
Hey, man, what did you do? Roll out of the back seat this morning?
Right. When you get your own car, you can tell me what to do. Turn left, turn right. I have a quicker way. This is a 5-minute ride. Just sit back. Just stop.
Well,
That was every other ride today.
you've had it with some people.
Yeah. Some days are just like that. Every 2 or 3 rides.
Sure.
Just be quiet. Let me get you from A to B.
Well, today is Super Tuesday.
What's Super Tuesday?
So Super Tuesday is when the largest number of states will be holding their presidential primaries and caucuses.
Okay.
Not all of them, but I think like over a third of all available delegates for both Republicans and Democratic nominations are at stake today. And mysteriously, and I say it that way because I know there's conspiracy theorists out there, Facebook and Instagram went down at 10:40 this morning. Like you couldn't log in. There was nothing. It was out.
Yeah. You know what? I noticed that when I was driving.
Yeah. So I don't know. So people thought,
Yeah. There you go again.
Russian hackers. Somebody could have been. I have no idea. It was back on, I think, by 11:30 or I know before noon it was.
Yeah, they kept asking me to sign in. I can't remember my password.
Yeah, yeah.
Luckily, I did.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I had to sign back in on there, and I took a guess, just a random. I go, I think it's this one. And it worked.
Yeah, I'm huge penis 1970 with a capital H.
Really?
Because you have to have
Huge Rochester.
right.
Very good.
You got to have small and lower caps and some numbers. So,
Yes.
Huge penis 1970 with a capital H.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
why you don't have an ironing board.
Right.
Or a washer or dryer. Because you're still living in Wagner in your head. So I think today, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden could take a significant lead in the delegates. It'll be until June 25th
Well, I think
before they decide.
Are
Before
the
it's
Democrats going to try to go with Biden again? I haven't kept up with any.
Yeah,
of this.
that's all that they're putting out there. There's nobody else talking.
Wow.
There's not another person they're talking about. So I have no idea. I don't know. So there you go.
If it's between these two, I probably shouldn't say who I'm going to vote for, but I hope after this somebody
somebody steps up.
Really does.
Well, Nikki Haley is hanging around.
Yeah.
I don't know that's going to really do anything because the Republican delegates, the winner of the GOP presidential nomination would collect 1,215, and I don't know. I think they need 1,420, so that puts them pretty close to the finish line. Anyway. Either way, Super Tuesday, and I knew there would be some of that stuff. You know what's funny is I did see something on like CBS this morning or whatever, and it was some guy. I tuned in sort of halfway, and he was writing a book, and it was basically about happiness, which is a big thing nowadays. Like people trying to tell you how to be happy, and it was funny to me because he said, you know, one of the things that's really happened is politics have divided people so much in this country, really turned people against people.
Yeah.
And to the point where family members don't speak to each other, which is really sad. And
it is. That and the COVID shot. The COVID shot was a big thing. I heard that.
Well, that became politicized as well.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. And so I'm listening to this guy, and I thought, and he's saying, you know, basically, like politicians are saying you've got to, and I'm like, I haven't heard politicians go, don't talk to that side. I haven't heard that. You understand what I'm saying? Like
I do.
I haven't heard that come out of anybody's mouth. But then then they do like this. I never watch these shows, but I have this new routine, Doug, where I stretch in the morning because I'm old and I need to stretch my body.
Stretch that lip out.
I got to stretch that lip out, get those stitches going. Pull down on that lip, and I'm watching this, and they do like they call it around the table or something, and it's stories that each anchor brings to this thing, and one of them was the oldest person in America. Oh, no, excuse me, the oldest person in the world. How old do you think the oldest person in the world is today? Today in 2024, think today.
140, or I want to say 155.
155?
I don't know, 140.
Jesus, Moses. It's 117.
Okay.
117 sounds ancient to me. And when they show the person, and they look like that misfit dog at the pound with one eye and the thing, you know what I mean? You
There's
go,
lucky.
Well, I always think this, and I've said this even to my mother. I go, you're not meant to be in this body forever. You know, you're just not. So whatever.
They are making new drugs that make your life, your body last longer, though.
Yes.
Where in years you're gonna go up to 140, 150. But do you really want to be that old?
Well, you could if you could still keep your faculties about you and have a relatively life and stay in a rational mind. I think that most people would, yes, because this is all we kind of are aware of, right? There are those that'll tell you that what you have here is only 2% of your overall being, believe it or not.
Huh. So there's more after this.
Well, there's a lot of people that say that there's many.
So I'm not going to get laid in the afterlife either, is what you're saying.
There's a lot of non-physical. Like your being is non-physical.
Your soul and all that. Yep.
If you want to believe that, I don't know.
Sure, I do.
So, but this lady, 117, born in the United States, lives in Spain, has lived in Spain most of her life. So
what does she say the secret is?
Well, interesting. What do you think she says the secret is?
Lots of sex.
She didn't say that.
Okay. Lack of sex.
So lots of sex. Lack of sex means you're going to live for a while.
Lack of sex,
Yeah.
really?
Well, I mean, I don't know when you've last had sex.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It's not because I have dementia either. I really got to get one of those calendars.
What she says is kind of interesting to me because as the one guy goes, listen, you can eat whatever you want. He goes, what is it that some people smoke and drink and do all the things we're told not to do and live
right
longer than we're
just
expected?
Happens to be that your body works with everything.
Could be. Could be. I mean, Keith Richards.
Yeah.
But the other thing that this lady said is
laughter.
No, family. Having family and loved ones
around. They can drive you to a grave too.
Well, they can, but it was an interesting thing because, you know, I don't know much about Spain. I've been to Spain.
Yeah.
And they shut down. They shut down at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and the city doesn't really come back alive till about 6 p.m. And then it's like Madrid became vibrant, and the clubs were empty until 11 o'clock, and they rocked till almost 5 in the morning. And I know that
I
they're.
want to say I've heard that before.
Yeah,
The whole country shuts down. Take a break, relax.
Take a break, relax. It actually gets quiet on the streets. Yeah, and there's siesta. You go home and nap.
Oh.
Right. Now, when I said this, when I came back home to the United States, I think my father goes, and I said they had legalized drugs because I got so high, Doug, on hash, which I go, boy, if there's anything, if they can make edible hash, I would like that better than edible weed because I don't want to smoke anything. I'm not a smoker, but the edibles, I like that. And but the hash, man, that was one of the greatest highs I ever had. Just the greatest high. That and cognac cone chocolate because I was 17.
Wow.
Throw it up. But
Would you go there for school?
No, I just went on with a school trip for like a week. Yeah. 2 weeks. Every year they took a trip.
Did they know that you were smoking hash over there?
Yeah, they probably did.
They did?
Yeah, I think they
Were
just
you supposed to look the other way?
A tour guide got it for us.
Oh, okay. Well, you can always trust a tour guide. Maybe then, not now.
But you know what it is? Here's the thing that I realized. I can find the derelict in any country.
Yeah. Vacationing with you.
I can find the guy that's going to get me whatever I want. But I remember my father going, well, they're not a leading nation of the world, dude, blah, blah, blah. True. I don't know what's really come out of Spain. I can't say that.
Macarenas?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But as this lady said, in Spain, family is really put first. Family and friends. Having time together. Not working as much.
Yeah.
Not the emphasis on working. And as they even said on this, what would you say is the American way? Well, the American way is kind of like making money.
Yeah.
Right. We get up to make money every day. Our economy.
We live to work.
Well, we live to work, and as a middle, and especially middle class, they carry more bad debt. The rich have debt, but it's good debt. It's debt that it's real estate. It's insurance. It's this kind of that. That debt is stuff that is going to benefit them. We carry debt on credit cards.
Yeah.
And shit that just doesn't.
It's 33% interest.
Exactly. And so then what do? Got to work. But we want that bigger car. We want that bigger TV. We want that nicer house. We want that, all this stuff. And it isn't that way there. And this lady said that it's really, and as this guy goes, listen, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, make yourself happy, feel good, but be around the people that you enjoy the most. And I'm like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And she's 117. I don't know. And they expect the longest living people in the world within the next decade will be Spaniards. And they're crediting it to not their diet, because the blue zone diet is all these people who live in areas where people live to be 100. Well, they're walking, they're growing their own food, and they're socializing and not working all day.
Right.
And or they're basically exercising is their transportation. Right. That's how they get from A to B, is to walk or whatever. And those are the people that are living to 100. And they also don't have, things like Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King.
They walk from Wendy's to the Burger King. Yeah.
So the 117, and I go, that's the purpose, man. Be happy, baby.
Yeah.
Be happy. And get that.
I went out and played cards with friends last night. Had some good laughs. Felt
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yes. And you always feel almost energized.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of going, that's why, like, doing a job like comedy, when you do stand-up, how great do you feel when you leave the stage?
I feel good. I think that.
Well, that's really convincing.
I think the feeling,
I feel okay.
I think the feeling will get better as I do more, when I get more relaxed. Because then I come off and I think about how my performance was, and I actually forgot a bit of it. And then I went up. I introduced.
Yeah, but how about when you get a big laugh?
It feels good. Yeah,
it feels great.
Yeah.
I think that is almost a high that you can't duplicate. And I swear to God, that is making your life longer. There's something about
There's
laughter and
because
fun.
I should have been dead 15 years ago. The way I eat and drink. Are you kidding me?
It's just so fun. It's just funny to me because I go, man, you look around and you see people. Everybody gets so uptight. I'm starting to think I'm not. Well, maybe I have never been, but I'm not really normal. I don't get caught up in the
hoopla
and it's just the bullshit of stuff.
Certain things.
I know they get in your craw.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it grind your gears.
Yeah.
I know it's grinding your gears.
What's that?
I think that there are certain things that in the world more of a political bent that grind your gears pretty good.
Well,
I think you get
just
pissed
people
off.
being courteous. You see it so often out there in the streets of
I don't see it, but
Rochester.
you're in a different part. Hey, look,
Yeah.
there's
and you just drive by these streets and there's shit all over the place and nobody picks it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you live like this?
Yeah.
I mean, you look
No
outside,
pride in your-
none
yeah.
at all, no
Yeah.
self-respect. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No wonder. Right? No wonder. Well, I'll tell you this. Like, that's why I sometimes think I live in a bubble. I don't see
In
that.
Fairport, absolutely.
But I don't-
Not to be mean, but
No.
it's very nice out here.
But it's all people who take pride.
Yeah.
They get up, they take care of themselves, there's pride. When I lived in a certain town around here, my father used to go, Jesus Christ, I think I'm going to have to get a variance to come visit you. I'm so fucking fat. Everybody's fit. Everybody's out running, jogging, biking. It was Pittsford. I mean, it was all the time. I lived in a place, you would see guys on a Sunday morning, they were like packs of geese flying by on their bikes. Right? There was one guy drafting in the front. They're all in their suits.
I hate them too.
Yeah, but I mean, they were all out.
I want to run them over.
I think these people.
Get on the sidewalk, gosh damn it.
I don't think on my street there was anybody out of shape.
Yeah.
They all ran. The guy across the street from me was a professional cyclist for the Bud Light team back in the day. Had trained in Aspen and done all this shit. Now he was an engineer.
Actually, I was just going to say Colorado has the least
Amount of fat.
obesity.
Yeah, I believe it.
More sunshine, too.
Yes,
So it kind of gets
it
people
does
out.
help.
Yeah.
And but this guy, he worked at Kodak. He bought a kayak, Doug. A kayak that you needed to have a really stable core to balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't sit in this kayak. We tried it in Lake Ontario. I couldn't get it to stay upright. Like, I didn't have the core strength.
Huh.
He would drop this in the canal and go from Pittsford to Greece every day. That was how he got to work.
Really? Even when it was
That was
frozen?
my neighbor. No, in the spring and summer
Right.
and into the fall before they drain the canal.
Where's Bob? That tide's really turned. He's going to be a half hour late. I hope he didn't get lost.
But-
Wind up in Oswego again.
But that guy was like, he was happy. They were all happy. I don't know. But yes, I think I'll tell you one that I think that bothers you, and it was interesting. And I brought up the Ukraine. I hear a lot of people talking about Ukraine and the fact that the $93 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I had I had a guy in here, and we'll air this podcast in a couple weeks. He's from the Ukraine, went back, did a documentary. And he was saying some stuff about, because I brought that up. I said, what do you say to those people? And he goes, he believes that Putin is crazy. He says the rhetoric, now I have no way to verify this. I don't know where I would find the rhetoric. But he says the rhetoric coming out of Russia is that Putin wants to march his tanks to Madrid. He wants to take over France. He wants to burn Paris, and he wants all of that.
So World War III is coming in his
Well,
opinion.
they're saying, and he says he's unpredictable. He can get you anywhere, and he is ready to take over. He's also saying that Alaska is Russian, and that this war started in 2014 when the USSR fell. A lot of those countries, the Baltic, became their own. So you had Kazakhstan and all these. They're now back under Russian control since 2014 because he just rolled in there. Now he's trying to take Ukraine, and they're fighting back. So I was talking to somebody, and this person was Republican, and they go, there isn't one Republican that isn't willing to give money. And he goes, and it's not money, and they're going to trade it as money, but it's all tanks and it's that equipment. He goes, there isn't one. They all agree. What that guy's saying, the Republicans believe, according to the person I spoke to. He said, what they don't like is the pork that's in the bill. There's stuff hidden in there.
Yes.
And the fact that the Democrats are also, kind of throwing only $20 million at the border. We need to it has to be fixed. He goes, but when Chuck Schumer stands up and says, your sons will be fighting this war, well, they don't, this isn't, they're going, no. We realize if we put American troops in there, it will escalate to a World War III. That's not what we want, but we can't let this guy come and take over the world.
Right.
And so I don't know. I wish there was some way to find out what, U.S. intelligence knows. Is this true? Is Putin trying to take right through to Madrid? I don't know. No way of knowing. So, but I think that when you sit here and you look around our own country and you go, well, why would we give that there? But at the same time, probably to protect everybody, and even protect us.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bigger plan.
There's a bigger plan. I don't know about it.
Right now, Biden says we have to fix the border. 3.5 years ago,
Oh, we need to fix the border.
yeah, amazingly enough, he wants to do it during an election year.
If anybody does want to hear something about the border, Copcast 2 with the Fairport Police is up, and they sat down with a retired Border Patrol agent, a man who retired 60 days ago from Border Patrol, worked the southern border down in Arizona and in California, and gives you some really, really interesting insight into that, and how much there are people who have dual citizenship from Mexico to America, and a lot of them come over and they clean hotels and they do that sort of thing, and they do not like the illegals because it took them 3 years to get all this stuff, and they're trying to do it the right way, and they're very, very upset about that.
Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way for everything.
It's an interesting conversation, and you can hear that in Comcast too. Why don't we take a moment? There's a study that came out about men.
No.
About men.
What do they study?
Well, it's about men and what it takes to be manly. This is the most ridiculous. We got to go through this because I want to ask you, and I don't know if it's a generational thing.
Okay.
To the point where I almost want to call my son and ask. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll call my 21-year-old son and see just what his thoughts are, because you and I will go through it first, and then we'll see. Because I go, I never felt any of this stuff. Maybe I'm lying to myself.
Maybe we'll dig up John Wayne Pilgrim and see what he says. You talk about a man of all men.
Don't make me laugh. This hurts so fucking much. I'm going to pop a stitch.
You are not going to. I'm going to leave you in stitches.
We'll get to that next. But first. Oh, shit. We went 30 minutes there.
All right.